Heather, I think it's time that I get a living will for myself. I think I'll call a lawyer tomorrow and make an appointment. What do you think about that idea? Larry, I do think that's a good idea, and maybe I should get a living will also. But I do wonder, how much do lawyers charge for living wills? Lots of money, I'm sure. But Larry, my bigger question is, what should we put in our living wills? Excuse me, um, excuse me, folks, but I overheard you talking about living wills. I think I can help you with this. And by the way, you actually don't need a lawyer to get a living will. You see, a living will is simply a document in which you specify the medical treatments that you wish to receive or not receive if you become incapacitated and can no longer communicate. In general, a living will should have directions on whether you want life-prolonging procedures administered when there is little or no chance of your survival. You can have specific directions about what care you do or don't want. For example, would you ever want dialysis? And what about being put on a ventilator? Would you be okay with being placed on a feeding tube or hydration system? And how do you feel about CPR if your heart were to stop? Some people also include spiritual and religious considerations in their living wills. A living will can be very specific in regards to certain medical conditions, or it can generalize, covering many conditions in a broad manner. Now, back to the question on whether you need a lawyer to put a living will in place. The truth is that in most cases, lawyers have boilerplate documents that they will use to create your will. So they customize it a little bit, but it's basically boilerplate content. So now if you go this route, make sure that you get a copy of that document in advance of meeting with your lawyer. And also keep in mind that once you sign your living will, it becomes your final wishes, and your loved ones cannot override your wishes. As you know, lawyers can be expensive, so be prepared to bring your checkbook. Another problem with using a lawyer to draft your living will is that whenever you want to change your living will, you will need to get your lawyer involved again. And you know what that means. The good news is that for most people, I advise them to create their own living will in their own words. You truly don't need a lawyer to do this. Your living will does not need to be an award-winning composition. It doesn't even need to be typed. A handwritten document is just fine. And in most cases, in most states, a living will simply needs to be signed and notarized to become a binding legal document. Now, I have even better news for you folks. There's actually a website that is a perfect solution for anyone that wants to create a living will without using a lawyer. The name of the website is livingwillmessages.com. Now, the nice thing about this site is that whenever you change the content of your living will, you don't need to go back to the lawyer and get him involved again. Simply make the changes, reprint it, and get the newest copy notarized. The site allows you to write messages in advance of your passing. Then, after you pass, those messages are automatically sent to whoever you address them to. To give you an example, let's say that you have a valuable coin collection that you have hidden somewhere in your house, and you want your son to have that coin collection. You can write a message that tells your son about the coin collection and where it's actually hidden. Your pre-written messages can be delivered using either email or text messages or both. And actually, the content of your messages is totally up to you and can be sent to one or multiple individuals. And of course, you can have multiple messages. One message, of course, would be your living will that you will want to send to your loved ones upon your passing. And get this, you can even schedule a message to be delivered many weeks, months, or even years after you pass. Pretty cool, right? Well, you get the idea. I invite you to take a look at livingwillmessages.com. And by the way, it's a very simple and easy to use website, and it's very inexpensive. Last time I looked, it was only $29 a year for their complete service. So I hope that helps you folks, and have a wonderful day.